Don't forget to follow us on social media for beautiful food and inspiration.
right, everybody, welcome to episode 200 of Local Love. I'm fucking stoked for this. I didn't even know this was going to be episode 200 until I put up episode 199 last Wednesday. But we'll get right to it here. I'm producer Dave. You can find me damn near anywhere, especially Grindr. I got my every week in studio co-host.
Hey, what's up? I'm Chip DeVille. You can mostly find me on Instagram and trolling your auntie on Facebook.
And I'm Juan Maserati, your favorite neighborhood Mexican keyboard player for Rebels Camp and Los Improviders.
Then we got
deliver groceries to your mom.
We got a whole ass band. We got at the top is somebody shaking their shoulders. Introduce yourself, ma'am.
Kia ora. I'm Michelle Perry from Ashes Fallen.
Your accent, it melts us. We got a couple Kiwis and Aussies in the chat too. We got the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who we're going to be nice to and not play food metal this night.
James Perry.
What's up, James? Introduce yourself real quick.
Yes, I am James Perry. I'm with Ashes Fallen. Of course, I also, a long time ago, did a project called Food Metal, and I've also been a solo artist, but we've been doing Ashes Fallen for 3 years now, and we are so honored to be part of your 200th show. That's amazing. Woo! Thank you so much.
Yes.
It just so happened to be that way, but I think it's perfect because y'all are great guests.
Yeah.
And somebody not as familiar to us around here, but last time also a great guest on the very bottom of the screen, sir.
Hey, I'm Jason. Also in Ashes Fallen.
So, of course, Jason and I go way back in the San Jose music scene. We were in Spit Kiss together. We were in James of the Fall, Control Theory. So we're all, got some deep roots in San Jose, just like you guys.
That's awesome.
Veteranos.
I'm going to definitely have to ask some history questions later.
It'll be like a history test.
Yeah.
So we just played one of your songs, and I know this. We just got it, and I knew you were coming on when you sent it to me. So I was like, okay, I'll put that on the server. I'll put it on our list, but I'm going to listen to it for the first time when I have these cats on the show.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I know. Like I could have listened to it a bunch more and given it some more, airplay on the show. But I was like, I'm going to do this the first time. I know that song is about something, but maybe it would be best if members of the band told us what it was about instead of me poorly doing so.
Sure. Well, a little bit of background. That's actually a remix of a song that's on our last album that came out last year, Fleeting Melody Out of a Fading Dream. Ultimately, I was inspired, just with the whole album, I was thinking about so much of what's been going on in the world. And that song is really kind of a shout out to the protesters and the people who are just out there on the streets, just trying in the face of everything to make things better and make things right. Now, we had done a remix exchange with some friends of ours, a band called The Axiom Divide, and they're actually going to be putting out a remix we did of theirs very soon, but they remixed Stand Your Ground. Their singer, Jay Ty, just loves the song and said, I want to remix that one. So we're like, okay, cool. And they sent it in to us, and we'd been sitting on it for a little while because we wanted to sort of put together a remix EP between albums, but then this war started, this terrible thing that's happening in the Ukraine, and we just wanted to do something. And I thought, you know what? Let's put this out as a charity single right now. I mean, the song is perfect because we're just watching the people of Ukraine just stand up for their homeland and stand up for their right to, self-determination and everything. And, we're mortified by what's happening and we wanted to help. And so we've put the song on Bandcamp. We're donating 100% of all sales to Direct Relief's mission in Ukraine. And last Bandcamp Friday, we even matched it ourselves. So,
dude, that's awesome, man.
So I saw that number was pretty, it's not going to, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big. But if a few thousand other bands put that amount of money together, it really might help out a community or whatever. If you don't mind asking, how much did you guys raise?
I think so far we've contributed, I don't know, over $800 now.
Yeah, it was.
That's good.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It's been our best-selling single on Bandcamp, which I'm not sad about at all. And I mean, it makes me so happy that our fans want to help us support, and it makes me feel good that our music's, music is good by itself, but the fact that we're doing something positive with it, and something
if
that
you're
really
able to
goes.
actually, make something with it beyond just making the music, it's fucking huge.
Right, and I think it goes along with the message of the song, and we're basically just trying to literally put our money where our mouth is,
I was actually pretty stoked to find because I've been tagging you guys on Instagram and stuff like that. You can find a lot of your music now when you try to add music to a post. You can find a lot of Ashes Fallen music, which I thought was pretty cool.
Good.
But
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was pretty cool to see. I always like when I get to see local acts and they're kind of, getting their stuff out there. It's really awesome.
Yeah, we've been working hard to get our stuff out there. No doubt about it. And we so appreciate your support you guys have had us do a live stream or two, and this is at least the third time we've been on your show. So yeah, we totally appreciate that you guys have been behind us all the way.
It's just not often that we have guests on who, what's the thing I'm looking for? Have their fucking shit together.
Yeah. Reals.
That's true.
Actually, I see you're just about to put up We Belong Nowhere. Do you notice some of the scenes from there? Because I shot a lot of that in San Jose.
I've heard the song a bunch of times, but I don't ever think I sat down and really watched the video because I knew the song. And so I'm probably less inclined to sit down and watch the video.
Yeah.
But I pulled it up. One of the reasons is because I don't think I've ever sat down and watched the video. And I wanted to, before we get going with this video, I wanted to just congratulate you for teaching yourself how to use a video editor and with no time to prepare and putting out pretty high quality shit for the band. That's amazing.
That first video, though, effing amazing.
I really like the vampire
Vampira?
one too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Needs must.
Right. Yeah. That you went from 0 to completed video in 9 days or something. So yes, Michelle, you work so hard. You are so capable. I'm lucky to have you as my wife, obviously, but also extremely lucky to have you as my bandmate because you make us all so much better.
Well, and I think all three of you, as far as the project, are lucky to have each other.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Jason, I know that you're a little less outgoing than the other two, but it's obvious. it's obvious that you care a great deal about this project, primarily because you've come on this shitty podcast twice now.
Jason's loud when he has to be.
Damn right.
Jason speaks with his guitar.
Yes.
I like that.
That's fantastic. So the band is, if I'm not mistaken, it's 2 guitars, a keyboard, and essentially a computer. Is that
right?
I'm the computer.
Well, yeah. Jason and I both play guitar. Michelle and I both sing. Michelle plays keyboard and some percussion, and then on the backing tracks, there's usually some bass guitar. Got my V drums over there, so some of the drums are actually played. We're doing a little bit more with saxophone. We've got a cover that's coming out on a tribute compilation to Love and Rockets and Tones on Tail that's coming out in a few months, and I busted out the sax on that. And there's also saxophone on our song Requiem, which is the closing song on our last album.
Sweet.
But yeah, generally we're live we're a 3-piece. A lot of it is backing tracks, to be honest, but it works. I'd love it if we had a bass player, but it's so hard just to get 3 people together and get things done. It's there's something to be said for keeping the footprint of the band small. And then we're getting ready to do some shows, some out-of-town shows, and with gas prices the way they are, if we had 6 people and all these vehicles, that would really make things a lot more difficult. So
right? And not for nothing, but you have to. A band has to be at a certain level to really make any money going out and gigging. You're going out and gigging because you love it.
Absolutely.
I hope you guys have, by the way, or y'all have shot up. It's amazing to see every time I see you posting, you're this goth industrial show spun our track, or this DJ played a remix of our track. Somebody's in the mix playing your stuff, and just watching. I think this Ashes Fallen project is exactly where you were going to end up. Just it's super good. It's super good to see it because we've strangely enough, our best Twitch friends are goth DJs. You probably know DJ Star.
Of course, I've known Star for at least 20 years.
Every goth and gay boy who knows the goths know each other eventually.
Right.
But I've been able to, because I'll talk about myself because this is my show. I've been able to get involved in some charity events with them where they've helped people. This gal, Hate Moir, had her studio or shop broken into.
I remember that. Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah.
And at the end of all these events, there's all this goth music, and then I get to play break beats, and everybody gets to get a little bit low or some disco, and it's just a different thing. And it's just neat that community mostly because of Star being interested in our cult show on Thursday night is like brought me in as a DJ,
okay.
and I've been able to play for, you know, a bigger crowd than I usually would here on Twitch, because the people here on Twitch, like there's not a lot of people here right now for Local Love. I'm glad you're all here though. And this show, we're probably never going to quit this show, even if there's like 8 people listening. But, you know, I'll have like 80, 100 people watching at the end of a stream or whatever, and then I'll start DJing, and an hour later there's 9. But if I get that raid from these benefit events, you know, somebody will kick in like 80 or 100 people back in who are interested in music, and then my community and their community mix, and then it's just been fantastic. That goth scene is, you know, I latched onto it when I was a young gay man because the goth people didn't give a fuck that anybody was gay. But
I don't know how many goth nights I've been to at gay clubs. The two communities have always kind of been hand in hand, and I mean, it's so important that the goth community remain inclusive, and it's true. A lot of goth DJs and bands that we know have done an awful lot of charity events. Our friend Jasmine, DJ Chat Noir, she's done a ton of them, and we always try to support that.
Yeah, I think she rated into me on one of the events.
Awesome.
Is Chat Noir she? Is that right? She her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Jasmine. She's a great friend of ours.
Yeah,
great supporter.
It's just been super fun and like honestly completely unexpected. And I think one of the this pandemic has been really hard, but like the flip side of it is like watching community happen, and even watching communities start to intermingle in new and interesting ways. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's had this kind of experience as, you know, a talker who also happens to do some art and then got involved with an art community because everybody's fucking stuck at home, you know?
Right.
Well, we always say the pandemic really helped us as a band because it got us out there. We started live streaming, and then everyone's like, "Oh wow, you know, these guys are doing it, so let's include them." And all of a sudden, we were live streaming just continuously, weren't we?
Right. Well, you remember 2 years ago when they had to make Sofa Street Fair into an online event, and I think we were part of the Local Love stage, if I remember correctly.
You guys afterward, I don't know if you showed up to the Zoom call afterward, but everybody was talking about your set. People were just blown away. And I remember it was funny because you were like kind of yelling at me on Discord, "Are we ready to go? Are we ready to go? Are we ready to go?" And I'm like, other people would be annoyed by this, but I love this. I absolutely love this.
He thrives under the chaos.
No, I just love that you weren't mean. It was clear that you cared about like the transition hitting,
the quality of what you're putting out,
that everything like went right. And I like really appreciated that. And since then, like I legitimately know that if we do anything with Ashes Fallen, that we don't have to worry about Ashes Fallen. And that's fantastic. So I'm going to go with We Belong Nowhere. This is the music video for it. This is done by Michelle Perry. Is this your second music video that you did? Is this correct?
Yes. Correct.
It may as well be your 200th. I can't believe how good you got at video editing in such a short time. And everybody will be right back.
Fading, all that we knew has changed. No more ground to go to. Your heart aches and it feels so strange. Displaced by wheels of progress, freighted just aside torn. Like autumn leaves scattered, I don't know this anymore. And we belong nowhere. We belong nowhere. We belong skyline, kinda gentle wrecking ball. Gleaming tower stands empty, in the doorway's a broken flame. We walk past, pretend not to notice, 'cause we've got our appointments to keep. And we belong nowhere. We belong nowhere. We belong nowhere. We can never go back again. We belong nowhere. We belong nowhere.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dude, that's a pretty powerful video. I really like. I was just telling these guys, I really like that. I don't know. A lot of what you're seeing kind of tells the story, goes along really well. Like, gives you a chance almost more to focus on what's being said. But yeah, that was good, man. That hit.
It's
like,
gothic.
A lot of like sad irony in there.
Yes.
Gothic and dystopian. And it's speaking
pretty
truth.
making that vision. I took all the footage myself, and when I was putting it together, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like this is really hard to make, but I really have to make it." So, and it was it was the contrast between all the buildings going up and the wrecking balls and the people in the doorways that everybody walks past every day, and it's like, yeah.
And then you got that one.
The homeless encampment in front of the sign that says "We Are America." I was like,
yeah, that one hit. That one hit really hard.
Yeah, that was one of those. That was one of those unhappy accidents, I like to say. Yeah. And we actually had to play the footage backward to look like that. And it actually says "We Are America's Farm to Fork Capital" because that's Sacramento's little slogan. But yeah, just we're like, oh wow, that is such the money shot.
Yeah, no, that was that really drove the point home. I thought that was really good.
Thanks.
So you had mentioned like over the pandemic that it kind of gave you guys a chance to really almost step your game up. And a lot of bands that we've interviewed have kind of said the same thing. What would you say? Like, would you say like, what would you say were like the positives to come out of that? What would you say like you benefited from? Well, I mean, getting that time.
Yeah, I mean, I would say again, the first thing was just the fact that we managed to figure out how to perform as a live streaming band very well, very quickly.
Yeah.
And so, we had some gear and we had the smarts to, be able to put on a pretty good looking show, and we managed to pull it off and get on some bills that we probably wouldn't have been able to get on otherwise. And I think between that and just, again, like Dave was saying, there's so much happening on Twitch these days.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I've done a ton of networking with a lot of DJs and other bands, and I think that's really helped us as well. And then, of course, during that time, we focused and got our second album out, which, I mean, to me, it's leaps and bounds better than our first one. And yeah, I think we just really grew as a band, and we grew our network, and now I'd say we're doing a lot better than we were in 2019.
So with your recording process, like what's your typical like recording process? Like, do you guys kind of just all do it together and hit record, or is like what, like, kind of walk us through your whole how you guys like recorded this last album?
Sure. I mean, we definitely don't all sit in a room and jam together. That's not really how it works. some of the songs were written by me. There were definitely some songs where Jason brought some riffs to me, and we came up with some things together. Michelle had some really good lyrical ideas, particularly the song "Vampire: The Ballad of Mila." That was very much her brainchild, and she didn't write the music, but she said, okay, I want it to have this kind of feel. And then one day I was just jamming on it, da, 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 and then she said, oh, there it is. Yeah, all three of us had jammed out a few things for a while, and it just really seemed like the song, it was a bit of a struggle to get together, but then we finally did. But, the actual recording process, it's definitely one of us at a time. We did most of the recording here in my studio, but since you're able to do so much with laptops these days, we actually did some of Jason's parts over at his house, which was very convenient, and that worked out just fine.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Jason? Like, did you find any advantages from, I guess, getting the time to focus more on music?
Well, no, not really, because working at home kind of turns your whole life into being in the office. So
all right.
there's a lot of that. It kind of gets in the way.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
But
The other thing that happened during the pandemic is that everyone in the band moved. Everyone in the band bought new homes. Jason and his wife have a new house, and then of course Michelle and I bought the chapel, which you can see in Michelle's background, the glorious chapel, which it's been a great space for recording, as well as where Michelle is the chapel itself, which is where we rehearse and do our live streams.
She's
so
framed up very
nicely,
nicely, I must say.
Yes. That's awesome. I would say to like the concept of this album, does it follow the same line of that video that you just released, where there's a lot of speaking truth or a lot of hard truths and just whatever what would that, was there a concept attached to the album?
Or does it cover a whole lot of different topics?
Or a bunch of different things?
It didn't necessarily start out that way, I would say, but the first album, every album, I'm the main lyricist, so I'll sort of speak to what a lot of it's about. The first album was a lot about where I was at that point in my life. The dissolution of my previous marriage, the fact that I sort of collapsed and fell down and then came back up again, and Michelle and I got together, and that's a lot of what the first album was about. That's not what that's not where my head's at now. So a lot of the album did end up just being about things like what's happening in the world, and what's happening with me, and losing my mother, and the pandemic, and all the injustice. So yeah, right. That if there is a theme, it's that one. And one of the things that Michelle is really good at is when we've got all the pieces together, it's generally her job to come up with the sequence, the actual sequencing of the tracks. And even though it's 2022 and a lot of people just listen to single songs, we've all been doing this a long time. We like albums.
Yeah, we grew up on albums.
So
Yes.
we really sort of put it into a side A and a side B. And side A was really more focused on sort of like the bigger picture injustices. Side B is a little more personal, particularly towards the end, where the last two songs are more about losing my mom. But yeah.
So that chapel seems to also loom large in this album. It's almost to me, this album, if I had to be what is this album about? I'd be it's about that place.
Yeah.
That's what I get from it, but it might be because I'm friends with you. We haven't spent a lot of time together, but if we were all having dinner, we'd be having a great time. And I'd sit next to Jason and jab at him and talk a little shit because I don't know Jason that well. But to me, it just felt like it was about the place. And I don't know how much of it was started before you moved to the chapel, but I feel like even though there's not a lot of imagery of the chapel, I don't think in the videos, it just seems to, that place seems to loom large, at least in my consciousness with the album. And it may just be that I know you and have watched you two turn that building into not just your home, but more like an expression of yourselves as artists. And so
that's very much what it is.
And I don't know if you feel that way about the album, but I certainly feel like that's, I would be like, if if you would have released the album and called it The Chapel, I would have been like, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Well, I mean, it's like this place found us because we had already done Thy Will Be Done from the album. That was already written way before we ever discovered this place or decided to move.
Yeah.
So-
Thy Will Be Done and We Belong Nowhere had both already been written and released as singles before we moved here. And some of the songs existed in premature form, but basically it was, I guess, Christmas break 2020 was where I decided, you know what, instead of taking a week off work to go on vacation, I'm going to work in here. And so I took all of the ideas that all three of us had, and I basically worked 8 to 5 every day here in the studio and pieced most of the album together.
That's awesome.
Do you get, I used to call it monitor head, where you've been staring at the screen for too long and it like sucks the creativity out of you at some point, like no matter.
Well, it's also ear fatigue, and that's really important with mixing. You know, you can't be blasting your ears for too long. You just completely lose perspective. You need to
turn
get
it
out of the
down.
room, have a bit of quiet. Well, I mean, it really helps to mix at volume. It helps you notice some of the fine details, but you got to take breaks.
Yeah.
If that's just such important advice to anybody who's doing any recording or mixing. You need to get some perspective from it.
If you're just banging out ideas, it's fine to do a 16-hour session just banging out ideas, but when you go to like figure out how it's going to sound, like I used to poorly produce dance music, and that's why I'm a talk show host now.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're sitting there, like I always knew that like I could do, me and my friends could sit around, smoke weed all day. But then I knew that if I was going to mix something down or whatever, they had to leave. And I had to like do like 3 to 4 hours at a time max, and then like go out and live my life for a day even, because it's it's difficult. And the other thing is you can trick yourself if you've been in the headphones for 12 hours. You can trick yourself.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's why he's got an extra set of ears here.
Right.
I come in afterwards and I hear things differently because
you got another
listening
extra
to it
set
for
of
too
ears
long.
too. I'm sure Jason is being bounced out.
Oh yeah,
preliminary.
definitely.
It's like I am not loud enough.
But yeah, we definitely send mixes to Jason. But I mean, that's one of the great things that Michelle provides me as an artist anyway. Even before we decided to be a band together, it's so great to have her perspective, an outside perspective, listening to things differently. And I mean, I've said this time and again, Jason and I have been doing this a long ass time. Michelle has been a musician for a relatively short time, and I think that the perspective that she brings as a relatively new musician is so important. And really, because Jason and I could just get our heads so far up our guitar playing asses, and it's not what it's about. I mean,
if there would have been no Michelle, the first album would have been called Heads Up Our Guitar Playing Asses. So just real quick, what's up, Peter Kochleger? Peter Kochleger has been a guest on this show before. We'll probably try to have him in the studio. Peter Kochleger is and I will say this without laughing, a pianist and pretty talented. And in fact, if you were listening since the beginning, before Down Ballot started, one of his songs played on the Auto DJ before the show started, but after I started the stream. So just wanted to say hi. And I gave you a VIP in the chat because you're a VIP. Mostly because you're 40 and you look 27.
Lucky bastard.
I hate him already.
Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and demand that we play that Vampira music video. You guys want to give us a little bit of an intro, though? Like, tell us the story behind it before you press play?
We could do like a 12-episode podcast series about what happened to this lady.
Now, let me tell you guys, something like that may well happen. Michelle has taken she already was massively interested in Mila Nurmi Vampira, and
she's if you want to do that,
I am more and more research.
You want to do that, I am down to do anything from just give you advice on the differences in the types of recording and the problems I've had to all out producing the series. So if you decide to do that, let me know.
Excellent.
It sounds fascinating, and I want to help in whatever way is appropriate.
You have no idea what an amazing life this woman led. Far beyond just being Vampira. She was, Michelle, maybe you should take over since you're the real expert here.
The only thing I say when it's talking about Vampira is you all know who Elvira is, right? And everyone's like, yeah. And I go, what if I told you that Vampira came before her, and Elvira is actually, I won't say a rip-off because she was hired to be the new Vampira until Milo Numi said, oh no, I do not think so. So changed name and carried on, and that's who Elvira is. She's pretty much Vampire reinvented.
She was the original late night horror host
From 1954. Milo Numi, Vampira.
I follow her daughter or her granddaughter or some shit on Twitter because you told me about them.
Sandra?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, her niece, Sandra.
It's her, yeah, it's one. Yeah, I was wrong. It was, but a member of her family who's involved in her legacy. I follow them on Twitter.
Oh, I didn't know she was on Twitter.
No, but I'm meeting her next week.
Oh no shit.
We're getting together. Oh
Really?
yeah. We're doing a whole lot of projects together. She's giving me a whole lot of vampire memorabilia, and I'm gonna actually be auctioning it off on behalf of the family. So
That's so cool.
So
Yeah.
if you're thinking about doing a podcast series with her, just sit down, set your phone down, hit record, and talk for 20 minutes about Vampira. You'll be glad you did.
We've set aside a whole day to spend with her before our show in Seattle. So we're actually leaving here. We're going to Salem, Oregon, where she lives, and we're spending a whole day and a whole evening. We're taking her out for dinner and stuff. But we talk all the time, like we're besties.
That's so cool. That's another way,
Yeah,
like
she's
that.
a
That's
cool
another way
lady.
that, like, I was talking about, like art and music and all this stuff, like brings people together. You would have never met her otherwise.
That's right. That's right.
If it wasn't for the song, I would not have met her. But in saying that, she's 75 years old, and when these people pass, all the stuff is gone. So now's the time to actually,
Yeah, if it's
Get
okay
it
with her,
all
make sure you
together
set a phone on a table with a voice recorder going and like interview her like you're the press and shit. I think
Bring
you should.
2 phones
Oh,
and
yeah.
record them
yeah,
on both.
absolutely.
We'll edit it for you later.
So, just to recap real quick, because Michelle, your connection's kind of bad. Your audio's cutting in and out. You look fabulous though, which is really weird. Usually
It's my new hair.
usually the video will shit the bed before the audio, but whatever. Like, you're in a chapel, anything could happen. It's haunted and shit. So yeah, Vampira came before Elvira. Elvira didn't really steal her shtick, but
Kept it going.
But Vampira got the raw end of the deal, is what happened.
Yeah.
Like, she, like, sort of, I think it was like a public access show or a very small late night show with like horror movies and like a gothic theme. And then somebody, I guess, bought the rights to it and wanted to replace her. And then they replaced her with Elvira, and she got the raw end of the deal. And Elvira is like super rich.
Myra actually tried to sue her $10 million, but unfortunately, Myra was a pauper. She had nothing. She had zero. When they found her passed away in her apartment, she was in nothing but a t-shirt, on a sofa, with her feet up on a patio chair, and that is all she had.
Damn.
But she lost the case anyway. Yeah. It's very, very sad. It's people who create something, and somebody else just takes over. Someone's got more money, somebody's got more backing, they run with it, they become rich, and the creator gets nothing. I mean, it happens all the time.
It happens in art. It happens in business. It's happened to so many inventors. Again, injustice.
Everyone that started their show that's better at it than me and making more money than me, they obviously stole my shtick too.
Absolutely.
So we're going to run this Vampira, the Ballad of Mila video. I just want everybody to understand that when our girl Michelle in the very top in the center there started to make this video, I'm not going to say she had never touched a video editor, but she had never really used one.
Yeah, we'd done a handful of videos when we bought the chapel. We briefly tried our hand at being vloggers, but that we quickly realized, oh my goodness, this is so much work, and it's just getting in the way of doing all the things we want to do. But yeah, Michelle turned this thing around in so little time, and the proof is in the pudding. Let's check it out.
As a person who hates just the process of hacking off the beginning of the end of these videos, and then rendering them to put them out like on not YouTube anymore, like Odyssey and Rumble and stuff. Like, I can't believe that you did this from not knowing how to edit video at all in 9 days, because I fucking hate video editing.
I'm just one of these logical people. I'm like, well, if this does this, then this does that, right? Now I want to move this. So what do I need to do that? Oh, here it is. No, I just did it. Then everyone's like, you're doing stuff that should have been in post-edit.
In After Effects, yeah.
After Effects. And I'm like, okay.
Well, now time to learn After Effects in an afternoon. Good job. Anyway, this is Vampira, the Ballad of Mila by Ashes Fallen. This is goddamn unbelievable.
A vision of fantasy, Cinderella of the Valkyrie, talk seductress of the tiny screen. You couldn't find the line that stole away your dream. I hear no reaching out, I can't still hear your screams, oh my.
If you're just joining us, we're here with all the members of Ashes Fallen on Local Love, the 200th episode on echoplexmedia.com and Twitch if you actually have the stomach to watch us. We just watched
He's like, actually, I'm drinking because I got to look at all you.
I'm drinking, so I look phenomenal. But that music video is fucking great, first of all. I really like that. That had to have been a lot of fun. Just to kind of get to go through all that old footage and then kind of layer it with your own footage. I mean, that was really cool. I really enjoy watching that video. Jason, so like there's this is a guitar heavy song. Who's who in that song? Like where can we find you in that song? Are you the down?
Yeah, it gets pretty buried for the most part. James gets to
Right, but it leads into the song though.
It's the backbone of the song. Jason does. It's the clean part. It's the signature riff. It's
Far too humble, man. You're far too humble.
That's right.
The song.
Do point out that guitar in the background, Jason. You and your lovely wife Melanie made that guitar in the background.
back
It's
there.
got Vampira on it.
Oh, can we see it?
Yeah, hold it up to the camera.
Yeah, we got
we did
Vampire on
it.
that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
They made it.
Do you
October,
have
we
like
played
a
an
few
event
different
called the
guitars
Vampire
that you
Ball.
tend to use? Like, or like, do you have like, is that like your main baby?
No, actually, we only use this for that song.
Okay.
Yeah. We played an event called the Vampire Ball that's held every year in Sacramento, and Jason took it upon himself to beld a guitar just for that song, and it
That's
sounded
fucking
great.
awesome.
It works great. It looks really good. Yeah.
Man, that's really cool. So like with you said you got some shows coming up and you're gonna be like actually like traveling. What cities
That's
are you
right.
looking forward to playing? Like where are you gonna be heading?
Well, we're looking forward to all of them. Michelle and I have been saying we're just looking forward to doing a bit of traveling again. We have not left California in so long.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
What we got here is I got the flyer up. Check this out. I can do this
great.
like I'm reading
Yeah.
copy. We got March 19th, San Francisco, California.
Nice.
That's going to be at the
that's
Knockout.
right.
We got March 24th, Seattle, Washington. That's going to be at Substation. We got March 26th, Portland, Oregon. I don't know what that says. OTFS.
So it's the Out from the Shadows Festival. It's kind of a long story. There was going to be a pretty big festival that we were supposed to play in Portland. It kind of fell apart, but then some of the bands, including us, were like, no, we're going to keep the date, and they turned it into a mini fest.
Fantastic.
And so, and that's going to be at the Coffin Club, formerly known as the Lovecraft Bar. Really cool venue. We're totally, and Jason and I have played Portland before. That's a really fun city. But Ashes Fallen has never been to Seattle or Portland as a band. So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to those.
So real quick, me and the media wench went to Portland. Do you know why we went to Portland?
I do not know why you went to
I love
Portland.
the story.
I'm just going to tell you why we went to Portland. Then we're going to go back to like reading this flyer like it's copy.
Cool.
We went there
Okay.
to attend a chemtrails convention.
Oh, all right.
So we got April 4th, Sacramento Cafe Continental. We got April 22nd, Fresno, California. Careful there. Don't do any meth, any of you. We got La Mason, sure. We got Cathedral City, California, April 23rd. That's Laguna Negra at Bart Lounge. We got April 29th, San Jose, California at the Van. Hey.
Caravan.
That's right.
And then closing it out back in your hometown or close enough to it. It's Sacramento,
May 10th,
California,
and
the
that's
start.
opening up for actors. So we're pretty excited about that one.
Not like
Wait,
not like
what?
people from Central Casting, but a band called Actors, right?
A band called Actors.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like we're gonna play, and then these guys are gonna do like a little performance. They're gonna do a scene.
We're actually opening for Comedy Sports.
All right, that's cool.
No. Yeah, we're playing with some other, a few names in our scene. There at the Portland event. We're not. It's a 2-night event. It's the 25th and the 26th. The 25th, the headlining band is called Vision Video. Some of you might have heard of Goth Dad. He's all over TikTok. That's the guy
No,
from
but
Vision
he's
Video.
on TikTok.
Goth Dad, I'm gonna follow him.
Goth Dad.
Let's go follow.
Yeah,
Let's everybody go follow Goth Dad.
Let's follow Goth
Yeah,
Dad.
Goth Dad. Follow Goth Dad.
Dude, I
on
love
Twitch.
TikTok. One of the main. Whoa, stop.
He broke a cardinal rule.
Stop. TikTok just always makes noise.
That's true. It does. I hate it.
Wait, why are you?
But I'm addicted.
Why are you? No, there we go.
I've
All right.
never been on TikTok in my life.
It's
really?
amazing. You should do.
No idea.
You should do like a dance. Fuck this. My phone's just gonna make hella noise. Fuck TikTok. I'll follow. What is it? Goth Dad or Goth Grandpa? Who's that again?
I'm not sure of the name, but
Grandpa.
it's Goth Dad. I'm not sure exactly what the handle is on TikTok, but it's definitely a thing.
If you were in my Discord, I'd tell you to just put it in the Peanut Gallery in the Discord. But I guess I can do that. What's the name again? Goth Grandpa?
Goth Dad.
Goth
Just one word?
Dad.
I'm not sure.
Have a good dance. Cool.
I'll find it. It's
Yeah.
I left myself a note in my own fucking main chat room. I always look at that. I'm like, oh, I said something that must have been important.
So, Jason, what's one of your favorite songs off the new album?
I think I really enjoy Forever. Actually, it's just a really interesting. It has really interesting guitar lines. It's a lot of fun to play.
You know what's fucked up
naturally,
is I don't
that's
think
not
I
one of
have
the ones
it.
I sent you. Sorry about that. My fault.
What was it?
Oh, it looks like they don't have that one. I guess I didn't send it to them, so it's not in their database, so they can't play it, unfortunately.
Damn it. Foiled again.
Foiled again.
Well, of what we do have, what would be a demand if you had to force one of your songs upon us right now, us and all of our listeners over in Australia, because nobody locally apparently listens, then what song would you force upon our listening audience right now?
That Will Be Done.
Heck yeah.
We got that one.
All right, this is Thy Will Be Done by Ashes Fallen, and everybody check out the slideshow during the break. It's all the local shows that people took the time to give me their flyers for, and I think people should make their flyers in 16:9 so they look good on people's displays and on my overlay, but people don't always do what I want. This is Thy Will Be Done by Ashes Fallen.
No, they
We'll be
don't.
right back.
I say a prayer in the dark. Thy kingdom come, there will be done. The tinder box meets its spark. A virgin angel has come. Stand at the end of the age. To turn around it's too late. And while we bicker and rage, the enemy's at the gates. God won't save us from ourselves. God won't save us from ourselves. We think that we're so involved, and yet it's always the same. Murder and rape sanctified, atrocities in God's name. Now our intentions are pure, driven by faith, scorn, and greed. And now our victories are sure. March on to make the world bleed. God won't save us from ourselves. God won't save us
Fuck yeah, that was Ashes Fallen, Thy Will Be Done, by demand from Jason.
That was awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for demanding that. Indirectly.
Thank you for playing it.
Yeah.
And thank you again for having us on your 200th episode.
200. Holy shit, I can't even count that high.
It wasn't even a complete
on my fingers.
It hasn't even been a complete shit show. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's oddly organized. Although, Juan, I am a little disappointed in you. I believe you've posted on social media something about pizza.
Goddamn right, we're gonna have some pizza.
I skipped dinner. I've started drinking and there's no pizza in my stomach, so red light is going to be very interesting.
So we're going to go ahead and open the panel to everyone in a few minutes here. Everyone, like all local heads, like if Aaron wants to jump in, I'm sure the media wenches out there wants to jump in. I don't know who else is out there. Peter Kochleger may have a proper mic and a connection, but y'all are welcome to stay. I just want to just once again reiterate that when I was like, oh, we're gonna have Ashes Fall, and that means I don't have to do anything. I don't have to fucking think about what questions I'm gonna ask them. I don't have to help them with the setup. I don't got to do nothing. So I want to thank you for being professionals, but I also want to say that the way that I feel about it probably extends to the whole project, and it's probably why you're seeing a big uptick in uptake of your music by different people, and so. I want just keep that shit up, fucking stay on the ball, be just like me, where everything has to be exactly right. And one of these days I'll be like, I knew them when they were.
I knew them when they were just streaming. Yeah. I do have a few.
When they were James Perry.
James Perry.
Well, we were just talking about the fact that. There was a Sofa Street Fair a few years ago where I performed as a solo act, and you guys were there. It was just me and a guitar, and Jason was there. It was the first time we'd seen each other in years, and Michelle was watching from New Zealand on camera. So, in a sense, you kind of helped bring us all together, I suppose.
I just love that, like, my drunken British accent, like has kind of carried on to like your following.
So I still see that James Perry imposter that walks around our neighborhood, by the way.
There's a guy that lives in this neighborhood, at least wanders around this neighborhood. He could be like your like stunt double if your stunt double did nothing.
Get his number for me.
No.
But just in case.
Just in case.
So since you do have these upcoming shows going on, like I mean, when you did your sofa videos, like it was clear by how you did your video that you cared about production value. Like, what is it maybe that you do in your shows? Like, do you bring anything extra when you're doing a live performance or anything like that? Like what could we maybe expect to see if we were to show up at any one of these upcoming shows? Or am I?
I mean, honestly, I think the truth is that live streaming allows us to do certain things that we couldn't do at an in-person show, and that's one thing
true.
that Michelle has really enjoyed. I mean, you've seen her work as a video video director. Michelle is out of the three of us. Michelle is the biggest film buff. She's really got the big visual imagination. She designed our logo, she designs our album covers, et cetera, et cetera. But the way all those candles are placed behind her and all the the fake trees and everything, she came up with all of that. And
that's awesome.
So being able to do the live streams from our chapel, we can really control the environment of how things look. Now, when we're the second out of 4 bands at a club in Portland, we got to get it on and off the stage quickly.
I see.
But at the same time, we're gonna be kicking it up a notch simply because we're going to be there with a live audience. Aside from one show last year, we haven't gotten to do that in so long, and I am so looking forward to it.
Do you usually have kind of like an idea? Like, do you have like we're going to do, because I've been in a few different bands, like some of them it's very organized down to the T, where they're like, we're going to do it in this order, we're going to do this, or is it kind of, do you play it by ear as you go and you're like, all right, cool, that was good, let's do this one next? Like, how do you guys usually do it when you're doing a live show?
We generally have to have the set pretty worked out. Unfortunately, we're kind of behind the ball right now. We'd really meant to be a lot more organized for this upcoming tour, but the fact is, Dave, I'm sure you're aware of this because you're friends with us on Facebook. Michelle and I lost our cat not so long ago, and we've had a lot of curveballs thrown at us lately. Thursday night, we're having only our third full rehearsal before our first show. Although, Jason knows the songs, and Michelle and I can practice together, when we have the time. So I'm totally confident we're going to have our shit together. But at the same time, we're kind of throwing things together at the last minute to a degree. But don't get me wrong.
But I guess visually though, I've created the stage wear, I guess, of what we were all wearing. Because I'm also a designer and a seamstress, so I've created clothing for all of us to wear. So it's kind of a bit of a uniform for this tour.
That's cool.
But that's not all we can do visually. We can't carry great big lights. We can't bring stage props or anything.
No Stonehenge. No Stonehenge.
What about as far as like merch sort of stuff? Like, what do you guys usually sell CDs? Do you guys do like shirts and stuff? Like, what's like some of the cool Ashes Fallen merch?
Yeah, we've got T-shirts, we've got stickers, we've got badges, we've got buttons, we've got coffee mugs, we've got
CDs, of course. But yes, the coffee mugs. Yeah, that's something that's a little off the beaten.
Did Dave get a coffee mug?
It's like, hey, I'm acknowledging that our fans are adults, but they still know how to rock.
Everybody needs an Ashes Fallen coffee mug.
Fuck yeah, they do.
And if you don't have one, I'll send you one.
Well, I'll definitely be at that Caravan show in San Jose.
Excellent. And I do want to give a shout out to the Media Winch if she's online. We did throw some ideas back and forth about that April 29th show. So I definitely appreciate the local boots on the ground helping me get this thing going.
Oh, 100%, man. And then if you know anybody in the scene too, that's just looking to expand their audience, even by the littlest bit, and that goes for you listening as well. If you guys know anybody that makes music, doesn't matter what kind, introduce them to the show. If you're listening to this podcast, text this podcast to somebody.
Text the podcast to somebody, but they should be local.
Yeah.
Don't put that call out because I already get enough music, people that send me from all over the world. And that's annoying because I'm sure their music is great, but
spread the joy.
Yeah, I figure we're kind of grandfathered in because Jason and I are from the South Bay, even though that's not where we're based anymore.
It's all good. You got roots.
All right, we do.
All right, Chip, you want to read the fucking podcast out? So
all right.
On to the other side here.
So if you're listening live, good for you. Keep tuning in every Tuesday at 9 p.m. till whenever the fuck we stop. But if you're listening to the podcast, also thank you. Thank you to Ashes Fallen for joining us tonight, and on our 200th show, no less. You can find this show on any podcatcher that you so choose to use, or if you just want to go directly to echoplexmedia.com, then you can do it that way. Also, if you're tired of using Spotify, if you're tired of just the usual radio shit that you listen to, then go to echoplexmedia.com/radio, or even easier, eplex.xyz. You can go to our radio page. You can request songs. You can go through our entire library, and then you can go and search these artists yourself. Dave, what was it that you were just telling me earlier? There was an artist that says, like, at least once a month they get, what do they get?
There are a couple artists. Yeah, they once a month somebody will buy their shit on Bandcamp because they heard it on here, but that's more probably the Sunday or Wednesday or Thursday show.
Doesn't matter. It's all from echoplexmedia.com. Go fuck yourself. Anyways, thank you so much for making this labor of love a thing. Even though most of our live listeners aren't always local, it's cool. It's a lot of fun. This has been a great project for me to be a part of. We have a library of over 1,500 songs and growing. And it's given us the opportunity to network with so many really, really good artists. So keep listening, keep sharing the stream, and James Perry, everybody from Ashes Fallen, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
And like I said, we're just ending the podcast. I don't know if y'all have things to do in the morning and you want to split, or if you want to stay. We do not judge either way. This is one more Ashes Fallen song. This is All Shall Fall. I've had to pee the whole time Chip was talking. Thanks for listening to Local Love.